What's good, YouTube? My name is Coach, and this is a new series here where we're going to be going over some of the decks that I'm in the process of building. As you can see, I don't really have this sleeved yet. This is really just a prototype that I've been playtesting, and at some point this will turn into something that's completely built. So the commanders that we have over here are Livio, the Oathsworn Sentinel, and he is partnered with, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name, honestly, the Salvage Splicer. So to be honest, this is really the main commander inside this deck. The other commander over here kind of serves just as a source of something to utilize this commander's ability. So Livio says that you can pay 2 mana to exile another target creature, and then you can pay 3 mana to tap Livio and then return to the battlefield all creatures that were exiled by Livio. So the other commander that we have over here, the Salvage Splicer, when it enters the battlefield, creates a 3/3 golem token. He's a 5 mana 1/1. So we're really just using him just to create 3/3 tokens. And that's pretty much it over here. So I'm not even going to read his secondary ability because it's not even important to what this deck wants to do. So in order to activate Livio, you need 1 colorless and 1 white mana to exile the creature, and then you have to pay 3 to return them to the battlefield when he's able to be tapped, which means you need 5 mana total to get an activation. So a big portion of this deck is utilizing creatures that have enter the battlefield effects, so that you're able to just reuse these creatures over and over again and develop build a board state off of an effective creature that you have. So one of the more important things that we're going to have to do inside this deck is ramp. So what I have here is Farhaven Elf, enters the battlefield, gets a land onto the battlefield. Fertilid, which also you can pay 2 mana to remove a counter to add a land onto the battlefield. This enters the battlefield with 2+1/+1 counters on it, so technically I could blink it, have them enter the battlefield, pay 2, grab a land, just continue that cycle over and over again. We have the Borderland Ranger. This puts a land into my hand, which I'll take. This also puts a land into my hand, which I'll take. The Cartographer is going to put a plains onto the battlefield. I need plains in order to activate Livio, so I think plains are pretty important to this deck, Livio. Then we have Yashard, the Implacable Earth, which searches for a basic forest and plains, and they go into my hand, which means I'm hitting my land drops, which is good. And then I also have the Mirari's Wake, which is going to double my mana and make it much easier for me to activate Livio. So those are the sources of ramp that we have. We also have cards over here that are going to allow us to draw cards. The Elvish Visionary enters the battlefield, draws his card. The Yannick has nothing to do with drawing cards, so I'm going to leave that over here actually. The Llanowar Visionary draws a card. Skyscanner, draw a card. Draw a card. Draw many cards potentially. Draw a card. And draw a card. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards that are potentially going to draw us more cards. I'm going to leave Yannick over here because it seems like that's where it belongs. So while we're drawing cards and we're getting mana, we also want to control the game. You know, our source of offense is more based on these group of cards that we have over here, where we're just able to put a ton of tokens into play. I don't think that there's really anything too powerful about that. So what I think is going to make this deck strong is its ability to utilize the enter the battlefield effects to remove stuff from the board and just play a type of a control type of style according to this blink. So we have the Reclamation Sage over here, which is going to destroy target artifact or enchantment. The Crawl Harpooner, which is going to fight flyers. The Wickerboro Elder, which enters the battlefield with a -1/-1 counter on it. And then you can remove that counter to destroy artifact or enchantment. When you blink it again, enters again with a -1/-1 counter, and you can just continuously do that. You have this Band Brawler, fights. Acidic Slime gives you the ability to destroy artifact, enchantment, or land. So Acidic Slime could potentially end a game if we blink it enough times to destroy lands enough. We have the Somberwalled Stag, which is going to fight. The Luminant Primordial, which exiles creatures, any creatures actually. And then a Knight of Autumn, which is going to allow us to destroy artifacts or enchantments as well. Now, if we're going to be playing offensively, we have obviously our secondary commander here, which is going to put a 3/3 golem into play. We also have the Master Splicer, which is a cheaper version of our commander, which is basically just going to put a 3/3 golem. And then a Blade Splicer, which is a cheaper version of our commander again, which also gives us a 3/3 golem. We are playing the Tristani Summoner, and when this enters the battlefield, you get a 2/2, a 3/3, and a 4/4. And then the Somberwalled Beastmaster, which enters the battlefield, which gives you a 2/2, 3/3, 4/4, and it gives your tokens. It's a pretty nice card. Then these cards over here are what I like to think of as some of the more special cards inside the deck. I would say Yannick is definitely just one of those cards where Yannick enters the battlefield and I exile a creature when it enters the battlefield. So when Yannick leaves the battlefield, the creature that was exiled with Yannick will re-enter the battlefield. But as Yannick exiles a creature, you basically put X +1/+1 counters among any number of creatures I control, where X is equal to that creature's power that was exiled with this creature. So, seems fun. We have Alharu, the Solemn Ritualist, which just puts 2 +1/+1 counters on creatures that I choose, and then when a non-token creature with a counter on it dies, I create a 1/1 white spirit. This one might go. We have a Teleportation Circle, which just gives us an extra source of blink. We have Aura Shards, because more often than not, there are turns where we'll blink out, or we'll exile maybe 4 or 3 creatures with Livio, and then when we have the opportunity to tap Livio to activate its ability and have them re-enter the battlefield, that'll trigger Aura Shards, with the 3 creatures entering the battlefield, and then if those creatures make any additional tokens as they enter the battlefield, we have maybe 4 or 5 triggers of Aura Shards, and just by activating 3 mana. You have the Verdant Sun's Avatar, which gains us life as creatures enter the battlefield. Sweet Gum Recluse. So if we partner this with the Salvage Splicer that we have over here, essentially the 3/3 golems that are entering the battlefield are going to enter the battlefield with 3 +1/+1 counters on them if they enter the battlefield alongside the Sweet Glum Recluse. So the 3/3s essentially turn into 6/6s. And then we have the Fierce Empath, which is just going to tutor for any 6-mana creature that we need. And one more importantly is going to be the Endray's Forerunners, which is just a cheap Greater Hoof Behemoth that we can blink to reactivate his ability every single turn, essentially. And that's this deck. If you have any suggestions or any cards you think that may work well with this, you can just leave it there in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel so I know, and like the video and leave comments just so I have an awareness of what you all enjoy watching, so that it makes figuring out what is most appealing much easier, much more straightforward. So hope you have an amazing day. Always remember, eat healthy, okay? Work out every single day. Most importantly, you got to believe in yourself, all right?